Yeah. That's where the yeah. That's gonna obviously not a concept. Yeah.
You done working or?
What?
You done working?
I got everything teed up.
That'd be good.
Just back there.
Yeah, I think we're good. I don't know the amount of that. I know Jeremy asked me a minute ago, he's like, when are we supposed to fire up? I was like, I think like 12:50. And then I looked at things like, oh, we're 12:40, you know. But
Also make sure you got everything you need.
oh yeah, no, I think I'm good.
Didn't you go?
Yeah, you want some?
Did it work? Also, Joe Rogan seen it. Yeah.
So essentially, now I don't know the science, but essentially it just has caffeine.
Oh,
Okay.
It's kind of what. Well, let's look at it.
I mean, I have to take Adderall to mine anyway.
Yeah, 40 milligrams of caffeine per slice. So, but,
like a third of a cup of coffee.
well, I like it because I drive a lot.
It's supposed to give you clarity and stuff too, apparently.
Well, yeah, so like I drive a lot, so for me, you know. Now, one thing I will say though is the mint flavor lasts longer than any gum I've ever had, and it actually keeps its texture. So, like, dude, that alone I would buy it again because literally, like, I mean, you get like Orbit and stuff after like 15 minutes.
You're done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally like 30 minutes later, I'm still like, you know, like it's pretty good. But yeah, Joe Rogan's, you know, been all about it.
He talks about lots of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I was going to see where if Vernon's ready to get rolling. Hey, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Vernon's got an issue with one of the properties that he's trying to take care of, so he's gonna go ahead and get rolling. But I'm gonna let our next speaker introduce himself. Where did that card go? It's hey BJ. Does everybody need to like stand up and get the post lunch?
Wake up.
I purposely was like, I'm just gonna have it right over. Yeah, you can. But I oh, you can see it. It's just really loud.
Takes a second.
These front lights don't do it.
They do.
It's okay. It should be bright enough, BJ. If you just want to leave, it should be fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed art? Oh.
Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, I mean. So Vernon, I guess, has some issues, so they asked us to introduce ourselves, no problem whatsoever. That's actually what we're going to do here, so if it's okay, and because of time, I think we're already behind on time, and anybody that knows Rich knows I'm very good at saving time when I'm speaking publicly. I'm able to make up time, no problem, I talk very little. We'll probably have to watch for Brooke. Brooke sometimes gets long-winded, but I'm just kidding, it's usually me.
He likes to be up here? I do not.
But we will go ahead and get into it. There are some things I wanted to have a little bit of a teleprompter. There are some things that I will turn around. You'll see the back of our heads a little bit on. I hate reading slides, but I'll just kind of go through this. Our big thing is we want to leave you with something. We want to leave you with something. You might not like anything that you hear us say in whole, or you may not want to join our organization, or you may not care about anything, but at least take something away of value for you. So let's dive right in, shall we? So we thought we'd start off with a little icebreaker intro here. Hopefully you guys can all see it, and hopefully the audio goes okay.
No, you won't. No, it's my treat. This.
Really?
Yep, and that's that. It's the first of many, too, so get used to it, sister.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh. I'm sorry. That guy walked by. It was an accident. I was going to give you like a nudge on the like a punch, the friend thing.
It's okay.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Get back up.
Yeah. So you always have those awkward moments,
We all had a networking moment like that, right?
And so I always like, whenever I'm speaking publicly, I always like getting there early, catch the vibe, get how everybody's feeling, and everything. It's always great to be the first speaker after lunch because everyone got carved up and crashed. So that's always good. But we're going to do our best to entertain you just a little bit and leave you with some value. So about us, I'm shorter than Brooke. You may have noticed this.
I made sure I wore my heels just to make sure you're clear on that one.
A lot of people, when they see us presenting, they seem to have this confused look, like, wow, she's taller than he is. We know this about ourselves.
I'm even taller without the shoes on, too, so there's that.
So then she goes and puts, 3 to 6 inch heels on, or whatever they are, wedges, whatever they're supposed to be. And well, yeah. So the other thing is, you may have noticed that I'm significantly older than Brooke. We know this about each other also. Yeah, we knew that about each other already. Rich likes to smoke. Brooke likes to dance.
I think you should clarify that.
Yeah, so we thought we'd clarify that just a little bit. I love to smoke meat. I love to barbecue. I love to do all that stuff, man. I don't know. It's just an addiction. Once you get into it, you just fall in love with it. I consider myself a grill master. One of the things that makes it really tough, though, is to ever go out to eat ever again, because the food is horrible, especially barbecue.
All the guys are shaking their heads because they think we're better than the restaurant.
And a lot of times when we say Brooke loves to dance, there's a lot of preconceived notions around that as well.
I'm a ballerina and a competitive dancer, so that's why we were late today. So sorry for the lateness, but
Let's see some awesome moves.
I'm wearing these heels today. And I do the ballet part. I get to. Oh, look at that! Yeah.
That was an arabesque for those of you that don't know. I don't know either, but whatever. I call everything an hula play. That's what I call it, but that's what I know. So, but together, we're the Rich and Brooke show, and people are, wherever you see Rich, you usually see Brooke, wherever you see Brooke, you usually
Rich. We're together, hooked at the hip 24/7. We're also parents. We're blended, we're the Brady Bunch. She's got 2 biological, I got 4. 2 of mine are grown and gone, 2 still at home trying to get them out. Boys are easier to raise than girls. And then we have Georgia and Brody, her 2 biological that are 13 and 11. Anything else you want to say about that?
Nope.
They keep us busy because they rock wall, they dance. We are in Oak Ridge, we're in Hardin Valley, we're on Western Avenue, and on site, we're back and forth. So if you're ever talking to us and we're mobile, just,
Most of the time you'll see us, we're in our car. Yeah, that's what everybody knows.
we're also couplepreneurs, so everything that we do, we said we do together. A friend of mine invited me to a basketball game, and I said, that sounds great. How many seats do you have? He said 2. I said, well, you'll have to find someone else to go, unless you're just letting us go. So if it's just us, we take the tickets. If not, you gotta have 3 tickets because you can get both of us. That's how it works. But that also means that everything that we do together. So we've got a website company. We love mobile applications, graphic design, all that kind of stuff. We've been doing that since 2009. We started Networking Today over a decade ago in 2013, and I almost closed it 3 times. Right after the 3rd time I almost closed it, we got a call from Allstate Corporation. We've now partnered with Allstate Corporation. They're taking us nationwide, launching in 7 states. And it's like the phoenix rising from the freaking fire of flames of ashes of COVID and a fake pandemic that literally we hope to recover and scale across the country. So, yeah. Then there's Bootlegger Runs. That's an app that we decided that when networking was getting its butt kicked in COVID, we thought this would be a good place to transition. And because we own a web development company, there's nothing stopping us from developing what we want. So we're like, let's go, that's a good idea. So we invested a bunch of money into that without really understanding the full. Yeah, I'm one of those guys, I jump out of the plane and then figure out how to open the parachute.
Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah,
and
right?
I just have to hope I can figure out what to do in between. So,
Yeah. And then along that journey, Brooke has momentum.
Yeah, so I built momentum based on some practices I've learned through personal development. So if you don't read, you should read as a networker, okay? It builds your confidence when you walk into these rooms, right? So some of the things that I did over 6 or 7 years to try to better myself in my business, when my life started to take a slight toll on me, I decided to take those same practices and apply it to a whole system. And so I built that system, and I hope that this will eventually get into schools, because unfortunately we're not teaching our kids personal development and planning and doing all those things early on. We end up waiting until we're in our 30s for it to happen. So my ultimate goal is to have this made into a workbook and put it into the schools for kids.
And one of the drivers there behind that was my kids play basketball. Surprise, isn't it? But my kids play basketball. Yes, I did look at the tallest guy in the room and asked. I was surprised, yes. But my kids play basketball, and we have a great time doing it. Go into this public school, and there's posters everywhere about suicide prevention. I'm like, so we're just introducing them to suicide. Like, how come we don't have, how to be positive instead? So
if you're going to sit in a room and give affirmations to each other, you're not going to walk out in the hallway and tell a kid they're fat, ugly, or stupid, right? It's just basic, right? So why aren't we doing it? So,
you don't walk up to your best friend that's having a struggle and go, you know what, just avoid suicide, whatever you do. Here's a gun if you need it, though. That's what you don't do. So we want to put positive affirmation out there, and that's what we're working toward. And then there's a million other things that we want to do and launch once things get going. The company at the top, Pearl, when I first started in 2013, left a 20-year career in financial planning, we called ourselves Pearl Marketing Technologies. So we're forming a parent company over everything that we do, and that would be Pearl. And Pearl will own the companies, and we'll grow from there. So that's what that's about. Shameless plug, if you guys would like to download our all-new mobile app that we've been working way too long on with way too much money and way too much time. We just launched it on the iPhone, Android. It's probably going to be about 3 more days. So if you have an Android, it won't go to Android yet. But if you have an iPhone, you can download it from the App Store. It's a free download. We'd love you to check out Networking Today. It is brand new, so there's a bunch of bugs and glitches in there because for some reason when you go from a full test mode to live and it breaks. But we're working on all those things so that it goes live. But love to have you guys get to know what Networking Today is. So we're here to talk about networking, though. We're going to run through a bunch of stuff, and I know we started late, Vernon, so I don't know where we're at in the clock, but we just want to leave you guys with some value. So first of all, the networking of today is very different than what it was. You could say everything is always changing, but I think things stay the same for a long period of time, and then you can have a sudden something happen in a market that creates a shift. And that's what happened when we had the pandemic. And the pandemic, actually, right around 2018, 2019, across the country, Networking Today had expanded to 13 states. over 63 meeting locations. And in that expansion, we saw this what we call micro networking. And micro networking groups popped up everywhere. This religious group, this group got together because they like to drink together. This group got together because they like to do cocaine together, whatever. They all did whatever they did together, okay? And you had all these micro groups, and they were all free, and that's all good. That doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of value. It just means you're going to network with more people. So, but today, you got to be genuine. You got to be authentic. You're going to hear from us. You're going to hear from everybody else. You go to Nashville, you go to California, you're going to hear the same thing. People are after genuine. No matter where you go, they're after authentic. People are sick and tired of pretense. And if people are going to like you or hate you, why not just let them know, like or hate the real you, right? Like, because it's hard living a fake life. So you got to understand, there's a rich principle you may not know about. It's called the 20-60-20 rule. And what that means is 20% of the people are going to love you whether you're Satan. 20% of the people are going to hate you even if you're Jesus, and everyone else in between is making a decision. Okay, so what am I saying about that? I'm saying people are going to hate you already. People are going to love you already. Let them hate or love the real you. Okay, you really need to be authentic, and you really need to be collaborative. The idea of closed doors, the idea of let's narrow. I'm not talking about niching. I'm not talking about a market niche. I'm talking about this idea of being more inclusive and collaborative and open in your environment is what the marketplace is looking for today. And by the way, since working with Allstate, Brooke and I have had the pleasure of meeting other corporations who are now inviting us in to teach them how to network within their own organizations. And so this whole idea of collaboration, working together to do what? To be more profitable. We're all doing it to be more profitable.
Let's just remember, McDonald's is also now selling Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. True
That's
story.
a collaboration.
What company is selling Cinnabon now? We just saw it.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Yeah. You can go and you can get a taco. No longer $5 for 20 of them anymore, is it? It's like $20 for one taco now, but I wonder what happened. How many of you in the room would be willing to admit publicly that you know who this guy is? Would you raise your hand, please? Okay, a few of you that are in this room that did not raise your hand are either like, I'm not participating no matter what Rich said. That's cool. There's a couple in the crowd. Everyone knows who this guy is, but I'll bet when you walked in, you didn't know everyone in the room, at least by facial recognition. I still don't. I don't know everybody in the room. So I might know of you. But see, when you're talking about networking, it's if I were to ask, does everybody in the room know what problems Vernon solves for people in order to get paid? Would everyone in the room say, okay, all of us know who Vernon is, but does everybody know what problem Vernon solves for you? Would you raise your hand? Okay. So it's a lower number. It's a lot of you. It's a lower number though, but let's talk about what Vernon is doing. Let's take a quick pause, just real quick. What Vernon is doing here today and consecutively in these meetings that he's hosted is being known and getting known. And the more exposure that he gives to us individually and connects with us and then creates an environment where we can help each other, all of us are, in the meanwhile, are getting to know the mastermind back there as he coordinates his network around him. And what he's doing is actually being more known. So, if I can walk away today and I can leave you with any nugget at all, I want you to walk out of here today with this stuck in your head. You laid your pillow, your head on your pillow later at night, and you still go, no. So I would like all of us to repeat after me. I know you're like, this is so dumb. I hate when people do this. Just humor me, okay? It's a Saturday. We're all here together because I'm going to ask you to do it. So let's just do it together, okay? After me on 3, we're going to say be known, okay? So 1, 2, 3.
Be known.
Okay, the main thing I want you to walk out of here today with is to
Be known.
Okay, you're going to get that through the thing. Grant Cardone. How many of you know Grant Cardone? We all know him, don't we?
Yeah, seriously, raise your hand this room specifically because y'all are in real estate.
I mean, he is like...
It should be automatic that you should have your hands up.
When I first got the 10X rule, I made it through the first 5 chapters. I almost stopped reading it. Luckily, I went to the 6th chapter, kept listening. Got so many nuggets out of this book. And then Sell or Be Sold is another great one. If you've not listened to it or read it, you need to read the 10X rule. If you're in sales and you've never listened to or read the 10X rule, it's hurting you more than it's hurting Grant. Spend the money, buy the book, listen to it, whatever, it's worth the read. But one of the things, the nuggets that I took away with was he said, be known. If you're going to eat lunch, eat out. If you're going to eat breakfast, eat out. If you're going to go someplace and have a meeting, make it more public, not in your office. The more you can be out, the more people that know you, the more people that know what you do. It's all about being known. You know, I can mention names, and I love doing this. If I mention Elvis, everybody knows him. I could go to India today and say, hi, everyone know we got Elvis. You know, everybody's like, yeah, I know Elvis. Okay, but they would all say they know Elvis, okay? Okay, but how many people does Elvis know? See, does Elvis know you? If Elvis can call you on the phone, you feel pretty special. But if a bazillion people know Elvis, it's not that important. So how many people know you? How many people know what you do? And that's what's important, is being known. When you talk about networking, yeah, it is important to make that individual connection. But one of the things you are networking for is marketing. You are there to market yourself. And in order to market yourself, if you throw an ad on TV and you throw that ad up there 13, 14, 23 times within 1 hour, what are you doing? Branding, image, so that they know your name. When you're networking, you stand up, never say, well, you say 4 people know what I do already. That is a foolish mistake that you're making, because you're losing valuable advertising time for your business. Stand up and confidently say, this is what I do, and one of you 4 may know somebody that needs what I do, and I do it better than anybody else. And I solve that problem for people. And whether they already know you or know what you do or not, you should repeat it. Just watch TV later today. Any known company that's Fortune 500 does it. We should do the same exact thing. Okay, moving right along.
And my whole career, okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that. Because it's about all of us.
Okay, that's what. This is literally what I thought you guys would do when I was going to do the, being known. Okay, but you guys played in really well. But there's a lot of awkward moments in networking, and you walk in and people already know each other's, and there's cliques, and you got to break into those cliques. And especially if you're new and you don't know the cliques, right? There's all kinds of things and uncomfortable moments like we're talking about today, and you just got to break through and keep going. When we talk about types of networking, it's really important that you distinguish between internal networking or non-sales related networking. If you're at trade shows, you're networking internally, things like that. Most of us focus on the sales side of things, where you've got chambers, you've got all kinds of free groups, niche groups, women-only groups, Christian-only groups. And you got to be careful with the Christian-only groups, because, well, then you just become ecumenical and non-denominational, and all of a sudden the Baptist gets upset, and then the Catholic goes, how we do it. And then you go back and forth with all that. But you just got to be careful that you're hooking up with people that mirror you and what you're looking for. Categorical exclusivity, all of the groups, thanks to Ivan Miser, blazing the trail to categorical exclusivity, that's wonderful. And most of the other groups, especially if they're a nationwide footprint, are also categorically exclusive. But most of the people, most of the builders I've ever met, most of the people in sales I've ever met want to know more people, not less. Every builder I've ever met has a stack of realtor cards this deep. They can't live on just one realtor. Same thing with landscapers. Same thing with all of the others. We all can't live on just knowing one person group. So it's good to go to all of them. We advocate that you belong. Networking works, but if you're not networking, you're not building relationships. That's usually where it falls apart. But we advocate that you belong to a good chamber. Not all chambers maybe fit you or your business or your model or your target audience, but you should belong if it's good, because networking is about exposure. Remember, it's about being known. Okay? Anything else? No. So here we are again. Again, I want to leave you with the main point, right? Repeat after me on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Be known.
The whole thing about advertising, the whole thing about networking is being known. Don't limit yourself. All right, so the networker today versus the networker of yesterday. Yesterday, it seems pre-COVID, very transactional. Very, hey, let me get your business card, throw you into my CRM and start a drip campaign. Now that you're on my drip campaign, they gave you an email address they knew you would start a drip campaign on, by the way. That's why they never reply to your emails. Okay, they never get your emails. They go to the one they set up.
Same email that the store gets.
That's right. Kohl's has the same email address. If they would just open up that email, they'd have all kinds of coupons. But it's it was very just like rigid. It was very structured, and there's nothing wrong with them. But what you're seeing now is more intentional relationship, people seeking collaboration based on interest. It was mentioned earlier. I'm pretty sure you talked about it, interest-based. At Networking Today, we call them connection days. We had one with Richard Esparza. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so Richard Esparza is big time into politics, and so he organized a legislative update, and so he organized the whole thing. He just promoted it throughout Networking Today to all 8 meetings that were throughout the county, and we show up. There's 200 people there. There's nothing advertised that it's a Networking Today event because it was his event. But we walked into a room with about, I might have known 20 people out of the 200, so it looked like a really good opportunity for me, you know? And so I was there based on the principle of politics. That was my interest. That's why I was there. It's something I have interest in. And no one that doesn't have interest in politics is going to show up at that event, right? So that's why we went to that event. It's something we had interest in, and we met a ton of people.
So, that's the way of today. So, if you're looking for the large, the regular static thing, it's still out there and they're still there. But also look for niche things that align with you, because birds of a feather really do flock together and do business with each other. So you should know how this works by now. Yes, we've done this a couple times. So 1, 2, 3.
Be known.
That's it. Be known. So seek first. We're going to talk about some do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. This was kind of a chicken soup for the soul book that we did at Networking Today. In 2018, several of us got together and authored a chapter in how did you get started. It's a great ice-breaking question to ask anyone. And 14 networkers got together and authored this book together. And we've got a few copies if you'd like one. But it's just some helpful people talking about how they got started in networking, and you may be learning a nugget or two from that. But there's power in questions. Ask people open-ended questions. Find out about them. If you're having lunch, notice if more of your plate is gone or theirs. Are they doing more of the talking, or are you? Are you asking questions and listening to be heard, or listening just to answer the next question? We always want to make sure that the one thing that we're doing is always seeking to understand them. Number 2, we talked about caring. It was talking about the Go-Giver. We literally brought that book today. Like, literally brought it to you. If you've not read the book, The Go-Giver, listen, when I started Networking Today in 2013, I love B&I's idea of giver's gain. The law of reciprocity is a real good law. I'm not hating on it. But at Networking Today, we advocated a little different law, and it's called give to give. Because when you give to give, not give to gain, you're giving from a completely different heart. If BJ needed something, I barely know him, but he's got a flat tire out here, I'm just going to give. I'm not going to say, next time I have a flat tire, can I get your cell phone number and call you? I'm not going to do that. I'm just, I'm going to trust it's going to come back to me, And so you got to care. You got to approach every interaction with a give mindset. You got to listen. You got to be willing to actually actively listen to what people are saying. And we live in such a social media. We're just inundated with news, and you get all your notifications, and you can hardly sit at the table and have a conversation anymore without them looking at their phone or what notification they might have missed. You actually got to listen and then be consistent. Show up with who you are, and that's important.
I want to say something about the listen part. The reason why listening is so key is you never know when you're going to be in the middle of a referral. Okay, we've all been sitting here today having conversations. And I've probably been in about 6 situations where I can send a referral to somebody right now. But the only way I know that is because I listen to the people I talk to in my network. And when I'm in that one-to-one, I'm intentional with my time in there because it is business. We're there for business. You're there to grow your business. But I'm also there to grow my network's business. So really think about that when you're networking. Know what these people need, because in that moment, you don't know what they need. 20 minutes down the road when you're driving down the street and you're like, oh crap, I got to send that referral because I just remembered so-and-so needs this right now. It happens to us all the time. So start listening and really owning up to what that person needs, not just what you need.
Well, and there's a whole Go-Giver series. There's a Go-Giver for leaders. It's a blue covered book. There's all kinds of Go-Givers. So it's 5 books. So I'd encourage you to dig into it. It's really worth getting into. Again, you know how this works. Just want you to take away. I don't want you to forget. 1, 2, 3.
Be known.
You gotta be known. That's right. Okay, so let's focus on some don'ts.
Please don't
Focus solely on your own needs. Don't seek to be understood first. Don't be overly formal and transactional. And definitely don't engage without understanding. Understand them. And I'm gonna tell you, man, a lot of people, I went through divorce about 5 years ago. I went through divorce, and a lot of people, what happened, nobody ever anticipated me go. I actually moved to Knoxville, Tennessee to go to Bible college, And so for me to go through a divorce was one of the hardest things I ever went through personally in my life. And a lot of people that thought, oh, that would never happen to Rich, actually started opening up to me when they found out that I was going through divorce. Because all of a sudden, what was this perfect appearance on the outside, they saw was actually a little more normal than what okay, your marriage is normal like mine. Yep, sure is, So you become normal to people, and you got to open up, and you got to not be this situation where you're just closed up. People got to get to know you. You got to give people time to get to know you. And that's when everything works out. But understand that they might be going through something. They may have experienced something. You may say key words that trigger them. You may say things. You just got to be sensitive to people and what they're going through and try to be a little more understanding of all that. Okay. So we don't talk a lot about this in networking today, but in networking today, it's not so square. And I find when you go out now and you're networking now, you can be yourself, but not the Walmart self necessarily. Like I'm just saying, remember when we all started doing the Zoom, we all said, here's my Zoom outfit, and I can take my pants off right now, and just be sitting there, and my pants were off, but that was my Zoom outfit, that's what everybody was saying. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want to see you in public in your Zoom outfit. We want to see that you're aligned, right? So we want to talk about these things. We're not going to read it to you, but Brooke's from fashion and industry, and she handles all of our UI and UX and graphic design. So I'm going to let her talk a little bit about dress code in networking.
Well, just show up as who you are. Be authentic to what you are. When I first started networking, one of the things I noticed were all of the painters came in with painter whites on, all of them. Well, now they're all coming in with branded polos and jeans. That's what they look like now, right? So they've evolved in how they look when they're out there, because that's your actual business card. You are your business card, not the piece of paper. We can make that look pretty. We can make our Facebook look really good, right? But you walking in is your first impression. And that's what they're judging you on. I hate to tell you, but it's true, right? So make sure you're really being your true, authentic self. You can overdress. We've all seen it. The girl that can't walk in the high heels, okay? Right? Okay, right. All right? Or you can be very underdressed. Like, I could have gone to my dance class this morning, thrown my hair up in a bun, and shown up and been like, yeah, sorry, guys. Had something else I had to do today, right? But that would have been a disservice to you, right? And a disservice to myself. So make sure you just show up in your true authentic self in every capacity, including with what they're going to see first, because that's nonverbal. And your queen's going to tell you some more on the branding here in a little bit. So.
Well, and I think it's really important to have the signature element. Some of you might know who Jim Johnson is. One of the things I remember about Jim Johnson when I very first met him almost 20 years ago was he wore red shoes. And in networking, he would stand up on the table and he'd walk and he'd say, hey, I'm Jim Johnson. And all I remember is the red shoes. And, hey, I'm Jim Johnson. Okay, great, so you are forever, okay? At least, then. And I'm saying, what I'm saying is he added a signature element. And there's nothing wrong with adding a signature element to you and who you really are. But, I don't think you have to be crazy. I think what you're here for is business, okay? You're here for business. If you're a believer, you don't necessarily have to put the Christian fish on your truck for me to know that you're a believer. I can see it in your work or the quality of your character. If you're gay pride, I don't care. But you don't necessarily have to put it on your work vehicles any more than the Christian fish. You serve your customers. You don't serve necessarily an identity. You may for your business, and that's good if you do, and that is your business, then you obviously would pursue that. But I'm saying make sure that you are open to your customers. Make sure that your outfit, so in other words, if I did cater to the religious right or the liberal left, or I cater to a niche, I would want to have a signature element, something to cater to what I do. I think everyone should have a personality in their appearance and in how they're presenting. And I think we've gotten away from it, and everyone seems to be just wearing joggers, tennis shoes, and sweatshirt now, and that's supposed to be okay. But I think that we ought to dress appropriate for the venue that we're going to. That's what. And I think it's working in networking. Okay, so just a quick recap of what we want you to walk away with. Number one, obviously, we want you to be known. We want you to understand that it's important. Like I say, it is very important that you know people. We had a call the other day from an important congressman. I'm not saying this like kind of stuff in the back. I'm just saying we need a congressman help for one of the things that we're doing. I put a message out. The congressman called me yesterday, and I was saying to Brooke, I wonder just how many people could just pick up the phone and talk to a congressman. Maybe there's a lot of people, and I'm unaware of all the people. But see, it's not important if you need a favor from somebody. It's not important how many people know this congressman or that one or this representative or this CEO or that CEO. That's not important. Do they know you? Will they take your call? They need to know you. They need to see you in writing. They need to see you in publications. They need to see you online. Wherever they are is where you need to be found. Your content in front of their face, whether it's LinkedIn. I know there's social media here. I know Megan does social media. I know other people do all that, and that's great. I don't know who all does what here, but Stephanie is an expert at PR, and she's actually doing some stuff for us and PR and everything because, well, we need it, and we're going to hire her. She's going to be worth lots of money soon. But here's the thing, you got to dress for your role. That's the main thing I want to say in that, and be known for who you are. Okay, types of networking. Maximize all networking. We talked about chamber, we talked about BNI, we talked about free networks, we've talked about all these are good. Our thing that we have always had, you can go way back in the archives of NTI, ask anyone who's been here from the beginning, we advocate network everywhere. You gotta network everywhere. Let's go ahead and move on and just wrap it up. One last big be known, huh? 1, 2, 3.
Be known.
And that's what we want to leave you with. Thank you very much.